What happens if an EB-5 project misuses funds? The EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program relies heavily on the integrity of the investment process. When an EB-5 project managed by a regional center or new commercial enterprise misuses investor funds, the consequences for all parties involved, investors, the NCE, and the regional center, can be severe and multifaceted. Understanding fund misuse in EB-5 projects. Fund misuse generally occurs when capital raised from EB-5 investors is diverted from the approved job-creating activities outlined in the initial I-526 petition, or when funds are used for purposes explicitly prohibited by USCIS regulations. Common forms of misuse: diversion of capital, using funds for unapproved operational expenses rather than the direct capital expenditure or loans specified in the business plan. Self-dealing, using investor money to benefit the project developers or managers personally, outside of legitimate compensation structures. Failure to maintain tranche release conditions, releasing funds prematurely or without meeting the required job creation milestones or expenditure verification. Consequences for the new commercial enterprise and project. The NCE bears the immediate brunt of any financial impropriety. The primary goal of the EB-5 investment is to create jobs. Misuse jeopardizes this fundamental requirement. Impact on job creation metrics. If funds are misused, the project may fail to meet the required 10 full-time equivalent jobs per investor. This failure directly impacts the investor's ability to secure permanent residency. Mismanagement or misuse of funds often leads to project stagnation, rendering the investment non-qualifying under 8 CFR paragraph 204.6. Potential legal and regulatory actions against the NCE: ineligibility for future approvals. The NCE may be barred from accepting further investment or may face scrutiny on any pending filings. Civil litigation. Investors may initiate lawsuits against the NCE and its principals for breach of fiduciary duty or fraud. Disgorgement. In severe cases involving fraud, the Securities and Exchange Commission or state regulators may seek to recover improperly used funds. Consequences for the regional center. Regional centers are responsible for the oversight and compliance of the projects they sponsor. Fund misuse reflects poorly on the RC's due diligence and monitoring capabilities. If the RC was aware of or negligently ignored the misuse, USCIS can impose sanctions, including revocation of the regional center designation, fines and penalties, public sanctions that destroy the RC's reputation and future business viability. Consequences for the EB-5 investor. The most critical concern for investors is the fate of their $800,000 or $1.05 million capital investment and their path to a green card. Implications for I-829 petition adjudication. When funds are misused, the investor's I-829 petition is highly likely to be denied if the project cannot demonstrate that the required capital was engaged and jobs were created. USCIS requires proof that the investment was made in good faith for the approved purpose. If the project fails due to misuse, investors may have limited recourse. Seeking exemplar relief. In rare cases involving capital restructuring due to external factors, an investor might seek an exemplar petition, but this is uncommon for fund diversion. Filing a new I-526. If the misuse occurred before the initial capital was fully deployed, the investor might attempt to redirect the funds to a compliant project. Though this is complex and often requires proving the original investment was not irretrievably lost due to malfeasance, the core danger is that the investor bears the risk that the NCE operates legally and compliantly. Misuse of funds is a direct violation of the program's structure, jeopardizing the investor's immigration goal. Conclusion. Fund misuse in an EB-5 project triggers a cascade of negative outcomes, ranging from regulatory sanctions against the regional center to the denial of immigrant investor petitions. Due diligence prior to investment and vigilant monitoring thereafter are the investor's primary defenses against the severe ramifications of project malfeasance.